I was reading on Wikipedia, which is the fountain of all accurate knowledge.
Accurate. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that you went to art college.
I did go to art college. Yeah. So that's I think that's quite important. And my approach to film scoring is very much based on that. You know, I'm looking at what can I do to make something that absolutely connects with the script. My real musical intro into being a musician and writing music and whatnot. When I was about 12, I remember walking through the hall at school, and there were some people rehearsing in a little school band, and I could hear them talking about chords, but I didn't really know they were chords. And I just thought, where did you get that knowledge from? You know, it was completely alien to me. I thought, who told you that stuff? You know, how do you know that? They were just chatting between songs or whatever they were doing. And then for some reason, there were a couple of, I'm from Coventry, God help me, and there were a couple of music shops there, and I would just go and look in them. I'd just go and stare in the window, really, and then finally progress to going into the music shop. And I would go to demos of synthesizers. That's what I'd do. Roland would come and do a demo of like a string synthesizer or a monosynth or whatever. And I'd just be there, you know, mouth open, just kind of watching it, thinking, God, this is amazing. And then I used to just collect leaflets. That's what I do. I collect leaflets on the synthesizers and things. And I just ended up with so many of them. I think in the end, my parents just thought, oh, God, all right, we'll give in. And they bought me this. They bought me the Wasp. I don't know if you can see it. It's here.
Oh, nice.
So I got this in 1981, and it's a great little synth. It's really great. It's 2 oscillators, built. It's got sample and hold. It's got envelope generators and whatnot. And even though it's got this weird keyboard, it's not an actual keyboard. It's a flat piece of plastic with a keyboard marked out on it. It's a really great way to learn the workings of an analog synthesizer. And then what I did was I spent about a year in my bedroom just making noises like, and I would record those and helicopters and things. I'd record them into the hi-fi through the mic inputs. They distort, which is quite a cool sound, but I didn't really realize what was happening. And then I just listen back to those tapes and I think that is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
How do you write? As in, do you on guitar, piano, straight in?
It depends. I've got a piano here. I've got a decent baby grand piano downstairs, and so a lot of the time I'll just sit down there and noodle away on that while the kids are like, sort of, I don't know, watching telly or trying to do their homework or something like that, and they'll probably complain. But I'll be thinking, oh, hang on a minute, like for instance with this new film, Higher Grounds. The main theme to that is something that I just sat at the piano and was going, and it kind of just popped out. You're like, oh, I'll keep that one. Again, I'm not a pianist. I'm not a pianist. I've had no musical training at all. Never had a music lesson. And it's not that I'm a kind of, some of these people that say that and then they just start sort of knocking off Rachmaninoff or something. It's not that. It really isn't. It just isn't, for instance, with Troop Zero, you're looking at a film that's set in the mid-70s in the Deep South, and it's about a little girl who's obsessed with the Voyager space probe and Carl Sagan and the Outer Limits. And so, it's a simple idea, but it was the idea of, what about this idea of cosmic country? So then that evolved into something that was Mellotrons and Moog synthesizers, tape loops and all those kind of 70s techniques, but then combined with, diddly bows and slide guitars and choirs and things that you might root in the sort of deep sound.
The humour feels very dry. It feels almost kind of quite British in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, it's got
the actors like that. I mean, Viola and the.
Viola Davis is just a star, and
yes.
So she's just got that aura of that. And it's interesting to be on a set with with those people around. You know, it's she was very nice. They were all nice. You know, I unfortunately missed the opportunity to go out and sing karaoke with Alison Janney, which is a real drag. I went out with the director. I went out with the director one night. We went for dinner, and then Alison Janney was there with another director and somebody else. And at the end, they were like, "Come on, we're all going out to a karaoke bar. Do you want to come out?" Of course, I wanted to, but the director didn't want to go, and I was with her, so it's just kind of. Yeah. So that's one of my.
You say you didn't ditch Bert and Bertie. I'm going to get karaoke.
She said to me, well, what would you sing if you came? And I was like, I said, "I Will Survive." It's a weird one. Pitching, I'm not that keen on it. You know, I mean, the problem with it, particularly cold, is that you're unlikely to give them the finished article, and you're demanding imagination, and you're demanding people to, you know, just take on board the fact that these are early rough ideas. I'm sure we've all experienced, you know, jobs where they want to pitch, they ask 10 people to pitch, you're in the middle of something, but you find the time to get something together, and you know it's never going to be the thing. You know, I'd much rather sit down with a filmmaker and just talk to them. I think if I was a filmmaker, I would obviously listen to reels and I'd look at people's work, but I'd want to talk to them, because you sort of think, well, do you connect? You know, are you going to get on with this person for, you know, a period of months, talking every single day? And you know, do you have things in common? Are you seeing things in the same way? People take a little look at your badge, like, you know, they just do a little sneaky look down and then start looking over your shoulder. You know, that's not much fun, is it?
No, but
I've done a lot of them actually.
Have you? Any good positive leads or anything come out of them?
Generally, it feels, you know, soul destroying.
How does one find those relationships?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the really frustrating thing when you haven't made those connections. All I'll say is that I worked in just purely, I've worked in, you know, many areas of music, but purely in terms of film, with the early short films, I worked on many short films, often with no budget at all. And I just wanted to work. You know, it's important to do things, isn't it? To learn. Just on a human level, I think it makes good sense to be decent and take an interest in everybody on any production that you end up on, whether it's an advert or a corporate film, or whatever, a short film. All those people in the crew, you know, for instance, all the runners, they don't want to stay as runners, do they? They don't want to be runners. The producer of the short film may be somebody who's got a job and they're just doing it at a weekend, but they don't potentially want to just do that. They want to be the person that's, you know, launching a film at the Cannes Film Festival, whatever. And so on a human level, I think it's good to take an interest in people, not be a pain in the arse. And then also, you know, on a more professional sort of level, that can also be a good thing as well, because, you know, it's worth developing relationships with people you get on with creatively in life, and maybe they might turn into something down the road. I think that's just good practice generally.
Now, let's phrase this. How do you deal with a situation where the temp score, you don't really agree with it? Or...
Oh, that's probably a good thing. I suppose unless the director's really married to that. The film that I'm scoring at the moment, Higher Grounds, it arrived fully finished. Temped every you know, there's a lot of music in it. I think we've got at the moment 76 minutes of music in the film.
You are on the last job in Hollywood, though. I mean, this is the last film that's ever going to be made.
But it arrived like finished. And this is the only way it could have worked at the moment, because, you know, wherever you're watching this in the future, whoever you are, currently we're in the middle of this coronavirus lockdown, aren't we? Where, you know, no sessions are being booked. You can't do any. I mean, films can't actually be made at the moment. But this one arrived just before it all kicked off, finished apart from the music, basically. And they temp the whole thing. They hadn't missed a beat. The whole thing's temped, and with a really nice temp score. So they've got the temp from the Grand Budapest Hotel for a
Oh, wow. Desplat, no.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and
Desplat, yeah.
and it's just lovely. I mean, it's such a lovely piece of work, and even though it's got a lovely spirit to it and things, it just isn't quite right for this film, or even right for the film. You wouldn't put that score to this film. So I haven't ignored it. I've things like tempos and things can be quite handy if you're trying to work quickly with edits and whatnot. But musically, I've really ignored it. I mean, I haven't done anything like it at all. I was really fortunate to get one of the last fully finished films that just needs music, so I can work on it. But there'll be lots and lots of productions now that are halfway finished that they've had to stop, and you've got that awful thing then where with schedules to particularly name actors and things, they're booked on something else. I don't know how. Anyway, they've got to work that out. So some things will fall by the wayside unfinished, I guess. Other things were ready to go and then won't start. Broadcasters need content, so maybe we'll see more animation on TV, adult animation. Who knows? They're gonna want material.
Well, there's going to be a bit where everyone's watched everything. I mean, if we're in this in 3 months, they've watched all the box sets, all the main ones.
Yeah, or a year. So then, but in kind of live action drama, or whatever. I think that will obviously it has to stop until there's a vaccine. I think there'll be an absolute boon for the composer community at a certain point.
So Rob Lord, thank you very, very, very much for all your amazing insight. And we shall be interviewing another composer shortly. I think the next one is John Powell.
Yeah, I've heard of him actually.
Me too.